I got royalty inside my DNA. I got peace, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. 死んだ天性 I was born like this is wild. Immaculate conception, I just never perform like this without you. One new weapon, I know I meditated on this that.
Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra! Hey guys, and welcome to What If Naruto was the reincarnation of the head Captain Yamamoto from Bleach. Now, before we get into the story, there's some things that I want to state before I actually get into making this movie, well, talking about it. And yes, I am redoing it. I wasn't happy about the way that I was doing some of my what ifs on my channel. Really wasn't happy. There's a reason why I was going on so many tangents, because I was like disappointed that I was going in the route that I did, such as this what if. Now, for the future, when I do what ifs, I'm gonna mainly focus on Naruto getting those kind of power ups. See, because I was focused on the people around him sharing that kind of glory when the what if wasn't about them. If I wanted to talk about the story about those certain characters, I would have wrote a story about those characters, such as I got some in the works. But other than that, I wasn't staying true to the character, and it was causing a lot of issues. So like I have to pay attention to this person powers, pay attention to this person powers, but no. So we're gonna make it fun, we're gonna make it comfortable and everything, and we're gonna have a good time. But yes, I'm gonna be remastering a lot of videos that I did not like, and that was the first one was what if if Naruto had Jiren's powers, and that did really good, and the final part was out. So yeah, I'm done with that series. But now I feel comfortable with it because it was something that stuck to Naruto, it stuck to Jiren, and I wasn't going all over the place. But anyway, I don't want to waste you guys' time any longer, so let's just get into the story. So during the Nine Tails attack, everything played out per normal with that, all up until the point to where Kushina and Minato would seal the Nine Tails inside of Naruto. As soon as they sealed the Nine Tails inside of Naruto, Naruto's whole body, well, everything would just be enveloped in fire, like enveloped in fire, really. So Minato and Kushina are freaking out right now. Like, they're really freaking out because they think their son is being burnt alive. But then the fire dissipated. Naruto is holding a sword in his arms, he's clutching it very tightly. And they're confused by this, but they also have some relief in their heart that their son is alive, that he wasn't just cooked. So yeah, fast forward to Naruto being like, say for example, 8 years old. He's been training with Hiruzen. Hiruzen has been very nice to Naruto. Even though the Nine-Tail killed his family, well, his wife, Hiruzen didn't hold that against Naruto. He wouldn't hold that against the child because it wasn't his problem. It wasn't his fault. And Kushina stated that to the third Hokage, that it wasn't his fault. And if anyone was to be mad, you should be mad at me, because I'm the one that was the holder of the Nine Tails. Don't be mad at the vessel. Well, that's harsh to say, but you know. So throughout Naruto's childhood, Hiruzen always was there for him, and Naruto really didn't much care about how people looked at him in the village, since Danzo already told everybody in the village that he was a Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. So it was like he wasn't having friends, he was getting shunned. So Naruto basically just stayed on his own, and he'd been training, focusing, but he doesn't really need to study much because he's like unaveragely, well, overboard averagely, how do I say this? He's on a different level of being a genius. Like, he's have some intelligence on him, like the boy was born smart. So with that, Naruto has been training in the sword that he has. Naruto finds some uniqueness about it, and has a strange connection to it, because when he was like 5 years old, he awakened his sword one time, and it engulfed the whole training ground in flames. And plus, the third Hokage told him to go to the training ground to train. So when the third Hokage seen these pillar of flames just radiate over the training ground, he would rush over there, and Naruto would just close the sword and say, "Yeah, I don't really know how to control this sword. Is this thing alive?" And Naruto would be shocked by this, but he would be also surprised by it because it's very cool. So the third Hokage would tell Naruto to train with his sword, train in the ways of the sword for years to come. And up until the point where he was 8 years old, his Bankai would release his name to him. Well, it was sort of pull Naruto into a subconscious world. And this is where Naruto would meet Head Captain Yamato. Now, Head Captain, well, Jinyu I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm just going to call him Yamato. Don't get confused with the guy in the Naruto verse. So the head captain would tell Naruto all about his Bankai, what it can do, and how destructive it is. He also teaches Naruto about the knowledges and stuff like that. And some point, Naruto tells him that, well, I can't do keto attacks. What are those? Well, you can't. I can only... This world has chakra. So the only thing that I can basically use is chakra in this world. Yamato laughs and says that maybe the world is different from the world he was in because the power scaling is quite different. Never heard of anything such as chakra before. And him and Naruto would have a huge conversation with each other and everything would just play out normal. So Naruto knows about his sword name. The sword even revealed its name to Naruto. So once everything plays out with that, Head Captain Yamato says that he has to return to the afterlife, but he wants to give Naruto a piece of advice to help him out on his journey. And nothing about training or nothing like that. He just was there to talk with Naruto, give him information about the sword, and that's it. So Naruto is basically on his own. He has to train and find out, just like how Yamato did with his sword. So Naruto would train heavily with Rinjin Jujaka. And Naruto would notice that Rinjin Jujaka is a powerful fire spirit. Well, powerful is to say the least. This guy, like Naruto, basically keeps his sword sheathed at some points. And he also dons the, or like the whole, what's the name, Shinigami, black, how do you say black cloak? The same thing they wear in Bleach. The same outfit that they wear in Bleach that Naruto will don. But his will most likely be like an orange and blue with the white coat over top of it. Now, Naruto chakra levels would be mastered since that he's smarter that ways and he would talk to the Nine Tails from time to time. And the Nine Tails would meet so much hatred towards him because he feels this kind of overwhelming peace around Naruto. Now, Naruto can manipulate the temperatures of his fires and he changed the scenery of his mindscape. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to be doing that a lot because I don't like the prison mindscape that feels like something that you trapped inside your own place, but no. So yeah, he changes the scenery of the mindscape and it's more like an open free land. I mean, the Nine Tails is still trapped inside him, but it's more open so that he can get out. So yeah, the Nine Tails and Naruto, they talk from time to time, building their bond with each other. So yeah, the Nine Tails is not going to hate Naruto throughout the story. So Naruto's chakra levels is going to be on the mastered level. So when the graduation comes, Naruto aced the graduation easily doing shadow clones. Now, up until the point to where Mizuki would tell this kid to go and steal the scroll of ceilings, Naruto would stop the kid right there and he would look at Mizuki with eyes of fire. Mizuki would say, "You Nine Tails brat, get out of here," and Naruto would just lop his head right off his shoulders. And this is where Naruto would say, "I have no tolerance, no respect for those who will disrespect this village to gain power. You are an enemy and you do not deserve an explanation." Now, Naruto was going to ask Mizuki what his explanation was with stealing the scroll of ceilings, but his anger did get the best of him, so he needs to learn some way to control that, and meditation will do keen with that. So Naruto does meditate from time to time to control his anger in certain situations like that. He at least wants to give them basically a chance to explain themselves. And for one thing that Head Captain Yamato did give him is his powerful spiritual pressure. Now, spiritual pressure would just be like his Ryatsu. This would be something Naruto uses for intimidating factors, such as when Head Captain Yamato was scaring the hell out of Nanaho, I think her name is. But she was crying, she was foaming out the mouth. Yeah, that part right there. He says, "I have no time to teach a child like you how to breathe." So yeah, Naruto's power is going to be just like that. If anybody tries him, he can just use that to basically overcome their willpower and bring them to their knees. Anyway, so as everything just plays out normal and they meet Kakashi on top of the roof. Yeah, I'm fast forwarding behind that and everything. So Sakura and Sasuke's best thing is still the normal as ever. But Naruto has a different aspect that he wants to become the Hokage and change the world for the better. He wants peace and he wants to establish the 13 court guard squads. And Naruto says, "What is that?" He says not only does he want to be the Hokage, but he wants to establish the 13 court guard squads. And basically, don't we already have that? In Jonin, I'm going to make it a little different. It's not going to no longer be called Jonins or Chunins, nothing. I'm changing the whole ranking structure of the Leaf Village for the better and for a peaceful structure. we're going to have captains, lieutenant captains and stuff. This, you'll see. It's a vision in the works, but I think I got a pretty good direction at where I want to go with this vision. So with everything being said, they basically, the bell test, Naruto aces that. With Sasuke and Sakura there with the bell test, he tells them, he gives them a good plan, and he tells, like, Naruto's words are yet, it feels like to Sasuke, it feels like his father's talking to him right now. And same with Sakura, it feels like they're being talked to by someone with a higher caliber of skill and more wisdom and knowledge, and but he's the same age as us. That's what's weird. So Naruto tells them the plan, and they execute the plan perfectly, working as a team. Now Kakashi is excited about this and happy about this, and the level of communication that Naruto has with his teammates. Now Kakashi then passes the team, and then he takes them on D-rank missions. Now they do D-rank missions for a while, but then Naruto speaks up saying that these two are not going to grow. I mean, I'm fine. I'm really fine, because I can always train with Kurama or train with Rinjin Jujaka. And this is where Kakashi would say, you named your sword? My sword is alive, Kakashi. You will see once we get into a higher ranked mission, but I'm not going to release it here in this village or anywhere else. I mean, I could cause a lot of destruction or just a lot of damage, something like that. Naruto would scratch his head laughing. So this is where they would journey to the third Hokage's office, and Naruto would ask the third Hokage for a better ranked mission. See, I have no problem with my skills growing to a good level, because all I have to do is just train and find areas that I need to improve in. I even found out that my chakra nature is wind. So just imagine how much I've been training in that chakra nature. Chakra natures such as wind and fire just correlate with me for some reason. So yeah, it can be a very destructive person. And I'm already destructive at this point, so that part. Now, the third Hokage would see that Naruto is telling the truth about his potential because he's been around the kid all his life. So, yeah, with that being said, Sasuke would speak up and ask for a better ranked mission because he wants to grow, get stronger, because he has a goal that he wants to attain. And Naruto would look at him with a very stern look, well, just a concerned look at that, because he senses in Sasuke's heart that he is going down a path of hatred, and he wants to pull him from that path and just bring him to the light and just give him a very clarity of things that are peaceful, and so that he doesn't have to be surrounded by darkness. Now this is where the third Hokage, well, Hiruzen would bring in the god, what's his name, Tazuna. He would bring in Tazuna from the Land of Waves. Whew, Jesus Christ, it's been so long since I watched the young Naruto anime series. Anyway, we're going off on a tangent. Let's get back to the story. So Tazuna would come in, but he wouldn't insult the kids or nothing like that. He would just say that he feels that he will be protected, because as soon as he walked in, he pointed directly at Naruto and says, "You are indeed a strong one, aren't you? I can feel the pressure of your aura just weighing down on me as soon as I walked in the room." And Naruto would say, because I sensed that you were going to say something negative, and I wanted to show you that we're the real deal. We are not pushovers. Anyway, let's get our stuff situated so we can head out on our first mission. So the team would get all their stuff situated and then go on the first mission, the Land of Waves. Now on this mission, Naruto would happen to see a puddle. Him and Sasuke would happen to notice it, and Naruto would tell the two to basically get out of there. Now, once they jumped out of the puddle, Naruto's spiritual pressure would just weigh down on them so heavily that the point the boys couldn't even really do anything. Naruto is using this as an interrogation tactic because he doesn't really need to pull out his sword to kill them. Now, Naruto keeps his sword sealed, like wrapped up in cloth, since he can't do that whole like technique that they do in Bleach with turning his shit into a cane. No, Naruto just keeps his sword sealed in cloth and just on his waist. Now this is where he kneels down and tells the two to tell them, like, who do you work for and why are you after us? I have a sinking suspicion that you're trying to kill this guy over there. They would tell Naruto the truth and tell him everything that they need to know. Well, everything that he needs to know. And Naruto would say, thank you, after knocking the both of them out. And in time, knocking the both of them out, like, hard, so they wouldn't wake up either. And Naruto did tell them before he did that if you track us, if you come after us, next time, I'm not gonna be so merciful. You should take this act of mercy and run with it. Now, the team would continue on their journey, and this is where Naruto would spot a white rabbit, and he would tell the team to get on guard. Kakashi would notice this too, and he would say that this is suspicious. Then mist would start to roll in. And once the mist started to roll in, Kakashi would tell the team to duck, to which everyone would, and the sword would clunk into the tree with Zabuza landing on top of it. Now, Naruto would say, a sword user, this should be interesting. Naruto would pull his sword out, and he would go at Zabuza, rush at Zabuza. Zabuza would pull his sword out of the tree, and then the two of them would get into a sword fight, a high intensifying sword fight. Now, Kakashi is shocked that this boy is moving this fast with an S-ranked rogue ninja in the bingo book, Zabuza Momochi. Now, both of Naruto and Zabuza are fighting, and it seems like they're on par, but no, they're not. Zabuza is at a heavily disadvantage. He's more on the defensive than the offensive because Naruto is slashing at his leg, slashing at his arm, cutting him across the back, cutting him across the chest. Now, Naruto is telling Zabuza that you have no skill at all. Basically, I am beating you at your own game. Weren't you a 7 deadly swordsman or something like that? And Zabuza would rush at Naruto using his full power, basically becoming a demon, and Naruto would just look at Zabuza and dodge every attack that he threw at him. And then Naruto would say fire style, flame dragon, and his sword would be coated in flames. Then Naruto would spin in a circular formation, and this dragon-like shape of a head, dragon shape, would just come out of Naruto's spinning formation and hit Zabuza directly head on. Now, Naruto says that this is one technique that he's made up himself. What he does is he coats his sword in fire, basically using fire style, and he spins in a tornado-like formation, creating a dragon to hit his target. It's been difficult to control lately, but he's gotten the hang of it. Now, Zabuza comes rushing at Naruto again, but he's burnt and battle damaged at this point. And Naruto tells him to stand down. If you stand down, then I will just ask you for an explanation of why you're attacking us. But Zabuza, being bitter as he was, he still proceeded to attack Naruto, and Naruto would say fire style fireball jutsu. And this would shoot out an enormous fireball, to which Naruto would then coat his sword in wind style and then sling it at the fireball, making it huge, scorching Zabuza completely and eradicating him. Now, this is where Naruto would say, damn, I needed information from that guy. You know something? Killing people, it's kind of sad. I felt like he could have been redeemed, but his soul was just so hurt. And then Naruto would look to his left to see somebody coming at him. Haku was right in Naruto's face before Naruto just erupted in flames. And Haku would just jumped away before he could attack. Now, this is where Haku would look at Naruto and he would say, damn, that was close. What the hell? And Naruto would say, whew, you almost got me there. If I didn't activate my Ryatsu in a time like I did, you would have no likely killed me. That was close. That was too close. Naruto would look at Haku, and then Naruto's eyes would just be shrouded in flames. Now, this is where Naruto would just stab his sword into the ground. And Naruto's body, hands, would have these flames over them. And then Naruto would get into a taijutsu stance. And Naruto would say that if you can best me in a fight, I will let you live. But you just tried to take my life, so do not expect me to go easy on you. I'm coming at you with my full power. And she would say, no, you're not, because Haku would say, no, you're not, because you're putting your sword down. Trust me. This right here, me, barehanded, is my full power right now, because if I were to pick up my sword, the battle will be over in less than a second. If I were to pick up my sword, the battle is broken. There's no contest between me and you. I outrank you and outspeed you. And Haku would get angry by this and then summon her demon ice. I'm just going to compare it to her because it should have been a bitch. Anyway, so he would do his demon ice mirrors and she would do her demon. Oh, it's so confusing. That character is so fucking confusing. Anyway, Haku would do the demon ice mirrors and surround Naruto, to which Naruto would say pathetic. And he would grab his sword and say all things become ash. and the whole area just erupt in flames. Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke would jump away with Tazuna, and Naruto would just be surrounded by these flames. Now Naruto tells Haku that the faster you can put your ice mirrors back, you cannot counter these flames. Ice mirrors are eradicated. She cannot put them back any more faster. I mean, I get that Haku's speed at replacing those mirrors once they were destroyed was incredible, but Naruto with his flames being as hot as they are was melting the ice mirrors just as fast as they came. So it was like Haku was at a huge disadvantage. So Naruto ended up killing Haku. Put the sword directly through her heart. Dead. Naruto tried to find some kind of remorse in it, but all he could sense is malicious intent and the need to want to kill him. Now, this Naruto is not going to be as merciful as, well, he's not going to be as that merciful. He's going to be merciful in some situations where he can sense peace in a person's heart, but sometimes, like, yeah. So, as continuing on, the land of waves is pretty much saved. Gato starts to build a bridge, and yeah, Naruto basically sits back on the back foot from this, but him and with Team Kakashi, they basically eradicate Gato's men, raid their vaults, and now the land of waves is living lavish. So now Tazuna names the bridge the Great Naruto Bridge. The same thing, the Great Naruto Bridge. Now the team makes their way back after saying goodbye to everybody, saying goodbye to Inari and all of them. They go back to the Leaf Village. Now, it's not much detail to go into the Land of Waves and everything. Just pretty much Naruto basically saved the Land of Waves, and now they're rich. So, yeah. So, they make their way back to the Leaf Village, and Naruto bumps into Kankuro. Well, not Kankuro, Konohamaru. And they both of them share, like, tales about it. Naruto's happy to see him, and Konohamaru is happy to see Naruto, and he wants him to teach him some stuff like that. He wants him to teach him that cool technique he did with his sword a while back, and Naruto says that only he can do that. And he's just very high equipped in, well, fire style. And fire being one of his chakra natures, it can be obscene with that. Now, this is where Naruto and Konohamaru is walking, and Sasuke and Sakura, they go their separate ways. Well, Sakura is following behind Sasuke, trying to ask him out on a date. And you all know how that goes. So Konohamaru would accidentally bump into Kankuro when Naruto was just looking at these kind of different ninja tools. And it's just techniques that he's devising in his head. See, Naruto is thinking that he could use these shuriken and cloak them in fire, basically as a diversion. And just to note that as fire style dragon flame jutsu, and it's only the shuriken is just covered in the dragon's head and basically used as a diversion, sending flaming shuriken at you, put it that way. So Naruto is basically trying to think about this idea, and it's seeming as it's something that he wants to do, but then he sees Kankuro being picked up by his hair, to which Naruto basically rushes at the person and picks him up directly by his neck and squeezes tightly. And then Naruto has flames coming out of his eyes, and he says, well, Tamara is right there. She's about to get ready to pull a fan out. Naruto says, I wouldn't do that if I were you, because if you do that, the both of you are going to be incinerated to ashes in a matter of seconds. I have flames coated around my body, and if you do that, not only would the buildings around here be destroyed, and I would feel very bad about that, and people would get caught up in the crossfire, but you two would be dead, and I would be happy about that. Now tell me, why do you have the third Hokage's son by the neck? Well, by the hair. And Kankuro would say, the idiot bumped into me. Naruto would just let him go and say, you are holding up a child because they bumped into you. When do you get to act so high and mighty? Naruto would just say, people these days. Alright, this could be solved a little bit more better than what I did. I am sorry I did that. I am sorry I put my hand around your neck and tried to kill you. But you gotta know something, that you're in a village where there's a lot of enemies around you. For some reason, I don't think the Sand Village is too keen on the friendship state with the Leaf Village. So you two should be careful and tread lightly, because if someone else were to see that, like a Jonin or the Hokage, oh, God knows what would happen to you two. And even you there, who's thinking he's hiding. Now, Gaara would come out and be shocked that Naruto basically sensed where he was, and Naruto would say, my senses are on a high level since me and Kurama are friends. And I don't know what it is about you, but I can tell that you're kind of getting manipulated by your tailed beast. And they would be shocked by this because they know what Naruto knows what's inside Gaara. And this is where Naruto would say, let's see something. Gaara would be looking at Naruto, but Naruto would have his hand behind his back. And this is where Naruto would have flames on each one of his fingers. Now this is where Naruto would say, hey, guess what? Gaara would say, what? And whoosh, Naruto was just right there fast. Before Gaara could even use the sand, Naruto hit Gaara directly in the stomach with the 5-pronged seal, sealing the Shukaku's influence away. And the Okaku away, so sealing his power away. And Gaara would just get up off the ground. Now that Shukaku's not influencing him, the voices is gone. He can think straight. He has his own mindset. He doesn't know what to say or think. He just says that he's sorry and tells Temari and Kankuro to come on, let's go. And he did turn around and tell Naruto that they're here for the Chunin exams. And thank you. It's okay. I can tell that you were being influenced by him. It's quite easy to sense negative emotions from your tailed beast. I guess the guy doesn't like being sealed inside of... Well, I guess he just doesn't like being trapped. But he shouldn't be bothering you. Maybe he'll learn some kind of control and be more nice to his vessel. Anyway, so what about these Chunin exams? Yeah, they're holding the Chunin exams for us Genin to basically get ranked up. So we go through different trials. So Naruto says, this should be interesting. Now Naruto manages to train Sakura and Sasuke, barely, training them just to get... Sasuke manages to awaken his two Tomori Sharingan in both eyes. Sakura's got some use to Genjutsu and gotten keen to Taijutsu, mostly. But she's been training, so Naruto's been, getting her skills up there, mostly in Taijutsu, since that's where she needs more power at. Even though Genjutsu would be a good ploy for her. So Naruto does create, it's like this. So put it 30% of her you're learning Taijutsu, and say for example, a good chunk of 95% of her learning, Genjutsu. So yeah. Now, once Kakashi goes to the third Hokage, all the Jonins go to Hiruzen. They learn about the Chunin exams, and that is about to begin. Now, all the Jonins recommends their teams, and Kakashi tells his team about the upcoming Chunin exams, to which they have 2 weeks to train, and those 2 weeks are spent lovely training. So, yeah. Just like I said, Sasuke managed to awaken his two Tomori Sharingan, and Sakura's gotten proficient in Taijutsu. Just say for example, she's still a beginner, but she's stretching towards the intermediate level. And with her Genjutsu, she's at an intermediate level because Sakura was highly, highly good. She's possibly borderlining at the advanced level right now because Sakura was really good in Genjutsu, and Kakashi took note of that in the anime. So yeah. With that being said, the team would make their way to the first trial as the test area, and to which they would get past the Hogenjutsu barrier. Now, this is where the team would be intercepted by, Rock Lee. And Rock Lee would challenge Naruto. This time he would want to challenge Sasuke, but he would more likely challenge Naruto, since Naruto is a prodigy beyond a prodigy, and he wants to test his skills against him. Now, Naruto tells him that he's not on his level and that he would wipe the floor with Rock Lee in a matter of seconds. And Rock Lee would say that, well, what? You can't really just say that. I've trained a lot in my youth, in my day, and, not my day, just when I was little. I've trained a lot. I've put a lot of hard work into Taijutsu. I can't use ninjutsu. I can't use genjutsu. And I only use Taijutsu. So Naruto would say, but even there, Naruto was right behind Rock Lee and punched Rock Lee directly in the back, sending him flying backwards. Sending him flying forward. And this is where Rock Lee would then turn around and throw a kick at Naruto, to which Naruto would just dodge easily, grab Rock Lee by the leg, and then slam him directly into the ground. Now, Rock Lee would flip back up and say, how are you? Naruto would say, you're not the only one who's put all their training into Taijutsu. While I have moderation, I've not just been focusing on Taijutsu, but I became very good at Taijutsu. Now, this is where Rock Lee would rush at Naruto again, to which Naruto would disappear from his point of view, and then kick Rock Lee directly in the face, sending him crashing into a wall. Now, Rock Lee would get up and throw a punch at Naruto, to which Naruto would be surprised at how this boy is speeding up right now. And the punch would just graze Naruto across the face. And Naruto would be shocked by this. He wonders how fast Rock Lee really is. And then Naruto basically just does a pressure point and hits Rock Lee's pressure points, putting him to sleep, and says that they don't have time for this. They can fight later on. Now, Rock Lee would fall unconscious, and the team would then go and take the test. Now, everything would play out with normal with the test, with Inca being pretty much don't have to go through all that because it doesn't happen the same way. Naruto basically just passes all the tests. He aces it. He's a genius, so he really just needs the 10th question. So yeah, all that plays out the same, and now we get to the force of death. Now Naruto would be devising a plan with this whole tactic, and he would tell the team about it. Then Anko would throw a kunai at Naruto, to which Naruto would basically just cut it directly in half. Now, this is a technique Naruto used as called very still cutting. Now, Naruto holds his sword still. It's as if in a fast motion. Naruto draws his sword and hold it in an upright position. And when the kunai came at it, Naruto moved the sword so fast as if it cut through the kunai just like butter. Now, the Naruto would sheath his sword and the two pieces of the kunai would fall. And this is where he would look at Anko and he would appear right in front of her and directly punch her in the stomach, making Anko cough up blood. And this is where he would grab her by the hair and then he would look her into her eyes. This place is called the Force of Death. And I'm devising a strategy, a kind of attack plan for my team so that we can pass this exam. If you ever do that again, I will not hesitate to cut you down. And Naruto would then just smile at Anko and say, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I didn't mean to punch you in the stomach. Naruto would conjure up some green fire in his hand and then hit Anko directly where he hit her at. He just wanted to show her what he was capable of. And the girl felt all that. She felt and like incredibly like when Naruto hit her, she felt so much pressure from that attack. Now, everything will play out normal with Uncle handing half of the team Earth Scrolls and Heaven Scrolls, and they would journey in after signing those waivers. So they would journey in and everything would play out. But Naruto with Team 7, with Naruto being on Team 7 and being this battlefield tactician as he is, they would never run into Orochimaru. And even if they did, that battle would be one-sided as hell. But Naruto being the battle tactician that he is, easily got the Heaven Scroll. They got the scrolls that they needed to get the hell out of Dodge. So they were basically Team 7 would make their way to the final part of the Chunin exam very easily. And then they would have time to basically focus on training until the other teams arrived. So now then we get to the preliminaries, which Sasuke versus Yoroi would happen easily. Sasuke would beat the shit out of Yoroi. Sakura would end up beating Ino. Yes, because with Naruto's training and influence and giving her techniques and her being on borderline at an advanced level of Genjutsu, Sakura would then use a tactic of putting Ino in the Genjutsu, to which she looks like she's kissing Sasuke, and Sakura would end up knocking Ino out. That part, easy. And then Naruto versus Kiba. Naruto wouldn't use his sword. He's not going to use his sword against none of his friends. So Naruto basically just puts his sword down, and Kiba would say, why aren't you using your sword? Because if I were to pick up my sword, the battle would be over in a second. I'm too skilled with my sword, and it would take the likes of a Kage or a Jonin to battle against me. And this is where Naruto would say, my hand-to-hand combat skills are good. Now Naruto would cross his fingers and use Shadow Clone Jutsu, and a bunch of Shadow Clones would be around Kiba. Now this is where Naruto would say, so Kiba, it's about 50 of me and 2 of you. What can you do now? Now Kiba and Akamaru would try to do their whole Fang over Fang and eradicate some of the clones, but it would be a lot of clones at them, and Naruto would be, some of the clones would be tagging Kiba and Akamaru, basically hitting them with punches, kicks, hitting them with a fire style attacks. And then Naruto does something that he creates. The third Hokage told Naruto about his parents and everything, and Naruto does create something. It's not perfect, but it's like a reddish Rasengan, but it's not like red. It's like say for example, it's like a miniature sun. Naruto hasn't gotten the perfections of creating the Rasengan yet, but he's been working on it. But this is a hard task for him. Not that hard. Naruto has the orb in his hand, but basically, say for example, it's basically clear. It's like spinning rings of fire, put it that way. So Naruto then hits Kiba with this, and Kiba goes flying, spiraling into the wall. Now Akamaru then comes over there to see if Kiba's alright. Kiba gets out of the wall and battle damage and breathing heavily, spitting up blood. Now this is where Kiba would look at Naruto, and Naruto would say, please concede the match. You are no chance against me, Kiba. And that's not me bragging. That's just me stating facts. Is that I'm on a whole different level than you are. You just need more training, that's all. And Kiba would sense that Naruto is being quite peaceful. He's not bragging or throwing it in Kiba's face that he's weaker than Naruto. Naruto is looking at Kiba. He's right in Kiba's face and he's holding his hand out to him with a warm smile. And Kiba just tells everyone that he forfeits the match. And Naruto says that you did good. You just need to think of more attacks than just a fang over fang. And just try to elaborate stuff more effectively. Who knows? You could possibly become one of my captains if I become the Hokage someday. And Kiba would say, Captain? What do you mean by that? Naruto says that when I become the Hokage, I'm going to change the title around to being the head captain. And then I want to establish the 13 court guard squads. And I already got my eyes on you because I sense some unique power in you. Uniqueness about you, Kiba. And it's mostly chakra related, but yeah. Anyway, so now we get to the 1 month. I don't really need to go into other fights like that. We now get to the 1 month training time skip, to which Naruto would train with Jiraiya mostly, and Sakura would train with Kurenai, and Sasuke would train with Kakashi. Now, once we get back, the whole attack on Konoha doesn't happen. It happens to an extent, but Orochimaru fails miserably. Now, Naruto versus Neji really was one-sided, I guess. Like, one-sided as hell. Neji would get his ass beat. I'm talking about nothing in Neji's arsenal could counter Naruto's attacks. And Naruto was just using his kunai. He said that he would use a kunai since Neji was so deliberately, like, he had no remorse in killing his own family. Naruto had to literally step in from him killing Hinata because Naruto felt that Hinata was pushing herself too much. And this is where Naruto would hold a kunai up at Neji and he would say, the exact same way that you beat Hinata. He would throw the kunai into the wall and say, I'm going to beat you with my bare hands. Now, be prepared, Neji. Naruto basically just steps, and when the proctor says go, Naruto disappears from his spot and appears right in front of Neji, hitting him, punching him in the face, punching Neji in the stomach, and then all of a sudden he kicked Neji directly into the air. All these attacks were happening fast, but Neji manages to get his back bearings to look for Naruto, trying to use his Bakugan to search for where Naruto is. Naruto is right behind Neji, and he elbows him directly in the back, sending Neji spiraling towards the ground, creating a huge explosion. Not like a huge explosion, but just creating a groundbreaking explosion and a dust cloud, to which Naruto would land easily. And this is where he would tell Neji to give up. You have no chance. Now, Neji would say, I do have a chance because you're in range. Now, Neji would rush at Naruto, and Naruto would be dodging each one of Neji's palm strikes. Each one that came Naruto's way, Naruto would jump over, dodge, evade, backflip away. Everything in our Naruto arsenal, Neji is getting furious with this guy. How is he doing this? How is he dodging each one of my attacks? This should be impossible. I am a prodigy. I was destined to win this, while he is just destined to fail. And Naruto would sense some conflicting energy in Neji. And this is where Naruto would then, well, as the battle continues and Neji exhausted himself, he couldn't even use any more chakra because Naruto just basically was dodging and evading, punching and attacking Neji. Naruto was on the offense and defense, while Neji was basically on the offense and not much defense at all. So Neji's tired out, very exhausted, battle damaged and fatigued. And this is when Naruto just casually walks up to him. And he coats his two fingers in fire, creating like a miniature flame blade, flame blade on his hands, on his finger. And he cuts Neji's headband in half. And this is where Naruto sees this seal on his head. Now Naruto says, people and their religions. He looks at Hisashi, I think it was Hisashi Hyuga, not Hisashi. No, whatever his name is. He looks up at the stands and sees him, and then he sees the marking on Neji's head. This is when Naruto touches his head and says, I've learned a lot of sealing jutsus. Naruto undoes the seal on Neji's head, and he tells him, this is a gesture for you. You've went all out in this battle, and you have nothing to prove. You should stop following this whole path to destiny. Everything isn't destined. Everything has its own outcome. And that's something that you need to learn, Neji. Anyway, I have good hopes for you because I can see you can potentially be a strong captain. But you just got to get rid of this selfish ambition of yours and treat your family with respect. Because at the end of the day, they all you have. Take Sasuke, for example. Do you think he would go single-handedly and kill Naruto would pause for a minute, but take the younger version of him, for example. He wouldn't just kill his family for the sake of killing them. You had no remorse in your heart and you was aiming to kill your cousin. Naruto would just let out a sigh and just say, just take this as a gratitude, but Naruto would knock Neji out and the proctor would call the match. Now, Sasuke's and Gaara's fight would be one-sided because Sasuke would beat the shit out of Gaara because Gaara can't use the Shikaku form or nothing. And his Sand couldn't stop Sasuke from reaching him. So, yeah, Sasuke would win against Gaara. And now, Naruto, every battle would go the same way that they did in canon. Now, we would just get to the best fight as Sasuke versus Naruto. And with that, Sasuke would be trying everything in his arsenal to strew that Naruto. He wouldn't use any fire-based attacks because he knows that can be redirected right back at him. So Sasuke is just using his own strategy trying to fight against Naruto. But then he comes up with a plan of using lightning. And he coats his hand in lightning and rushes at Naruto, to which Naruto does not see this, and he gets hit with the Shindori directly in the stomach. Now, it doesn't have the piercing power, of the Shindori. It didn't pierce directly through his shoulder or nothing like that. It basically bruised Naruto very good and heavily, and caused Naruto to cough up some blood. He got hit with that Shindori directly in the stomach, and it did a lot of damage. Now, Naruto is backing away from Sasuke and he coughs some blood and he says, "Wow, Kakashi taught you that attack. I can see why it's so dangerous." Steam would be coming off of Naruto's stomach as he's healing from the wounds that Sasuke just inflicted on him. And this is where Sasuke and Naruto didn't get into a taijutsu bout with each other. And it would be heavily taijutsu bout as the two of them are speeding across the area. Now Sasuke is using a Sharingan and Naruto is using his boss name. Mostly he's using some fire attacks and he's using his wind-based attacks too to keep Sasuke at bay too. Anyway, but his fire is overwhelming Sasuke at a great level. Now, Naruto is not using his sword because why would he need to use his sword? He's not trying to kill Sasuke. That doesn't make sense. If he pull out his sword, it'll be over. He's not going to kill him. So it's just going to be a slight difference with that of using the sword powers. Anyway, now when the attack on Konoha happened, like I said, Orochimaru would fail miserably because this would be in the midst of Sasuke and Naruto's battle. And the moment that the snakes would attack the village, Naruto had already sensed who the imposter was and would be right there. He'd appear right in front of Orochimaru. And in an instant, Naruto would say, "Saka no Tachi." Swing his sword. It would happen so fast. Swing his sword, hit Orochimaru, and turn him to ash. The snakes would disappear. The Sound 4 would see this. Kabuto would see this and retreat. They would get the hell out of Dodge. Because what just happened was shockingly scary. Naruto, they just seen this. Naruto just jumped from where he was battling Sasuke. His sword did some kind of glowing effect. It was like as if it was steaming white. Well, it was like burning white, and he swung his sword at Orochimaru and just turned him directly into ash. Now, that's where I'm gonna end this one at. I'm gonna end this off at a cliffhanger, because the next video that I go into, I'm gonna be going all the way through. So, see, the Chunin exams is over with. Well, when we get back into the story, we're gonna pick up to where we left off with that. With the Chunin exams, picking up from there. But from there, I'm going to lead all the way into Shippuden, and then I'm going to finish it off there. But this is the first part to What If Naruto Was a Reincarnation of Head Captain Yamato, the movie, part 1 of 2. You guys have a good day, a good night, and plus ultra. Good night, guys.